massive waves of immigration that will affect the larger European countries just a couple of years later. So with great gladness, I introduce Norman Lowell as our third speaker in the 15th New Right Listing.
Thank you. First of all, greetings, all of you. This camaraderie here is truly uplifting. This is my third visit here, and I intend to close, to button up, so to speak, my exposition of the idea of Imperium Europa. But first, a brief resume. Sun Tzu, the great military strategist, said that to know the enemy and to know oneself means that one needs not fear 100 battles. To know the enemy and to know thyself. Now we know the enemy. Of course we know him. And the enemy is that tribe of marauding mischief makers who drew the gauntlet 2,000 years ago and vowed to destroy us. That is the enemy. We know him. We know his power. But do we know ourselves? This is the question. In one of my previous talks, I tried to explain the attributes of the new right. And for ease of memory, I have given the 5 R's. Radical, racialist right, revolutionary, reactionaries. Radical, because we tackle problems alla radici at the roots. We don't tackle the effect, the cause. We don't tackle the effect, but tackle the cause. So we are radical, indeed we are. Racialist, we are not racists, we are racialists in that we love our race, composed of those 4 cousin sub-races, the Anglo-Saxons, the Teutons, the Slavs, and the Latins. Racial, and we intend to do everything to protect our progeny. You see, our enemies have no idea to what lengths we are prepared to go in order to do this. Radical, racialist right. We are not the morons of the left. We are individualists. You could see here from the speakers, they are not echoing a party line, la repetizione del monotono, the repetition of the monotonous. They are so original, all of them. One speaker after, you never get the subjects we tackle, you see. We are not bored with the plateau of ideas. We're always striving to create, to reach out for the beyond, out of reach. Radical, racialist, right, revolutionary. Of course we are revolutionary. And how? We are the ones who have to spark, to ignite Europa Blaze, to stir our people, you see. We are indeed revolutionary in the way evil I used to call a revolutionary. We're not destroyers, but creators. Radical, racialist, right, revolutionary, reactionaries. And how? We react immediately. We smell the enemy a mile away, and we react to all that is noxious and detrimental to our race and civilization. That civilization that has graced this planet and grazed the moon. So those are the properties of the new right, for ease of memory, the 5 R's. Then, for those who remember, I had explained the geographical dimensions of the Imperium. An Imperium girdling the globe. 2 white rings north and south of the equator. Ireland to Vladivostok under the Bering Strait through a tunnel linking the Tellurics with the Thessalocracies, reaching out to Finland, a new America comprising Alaska, Canada, and the new liberated, presently Zionist-dominated USA. So those three linking up the north. To the south, another one string. Huge swathes of land, the Latin American white cone, Uruguay, Argentina, Chile, you see? There. Australia and New Zealand, a continent reserved for whites, as we used to say in the 50s. And of course, Southern Africa. At least, from the Zambezi down to Cape Agalas, to Cape Africa. For those of us who have been to Africa and Rhodesia and know the score, it is so easy. It's so easy to liberate Africa. All we have to do is appropriate the food-producing areas and erect huge food deposits, dishing out free food and bottles of gin to the blacks, you see, and gradually move them northwards, 50 miles at a time. And old hands in Africa know that the cover will walk hundreds of miles for a free meal. Yeah. So this is it.
Africa for the blacks.
Yeah.
Southern Africa for the whites. So, because we've been there before, you see, read the history. We have been before, actually. That was only inhabited by the Hottentots. The others, from the Congo Basin, came just a bit later and clashed with the Germans in Southwest Africa, clashed with the Germans. The Hottentots, a fearsome tribe, of course. And that's it. But anyway, that's a detail. But we want Southern Africa. And, of course, we defined the spiritual nature of the Imperium. Masculine side, the Imperium side, and the feminine side of the Imperium. At the moment, the national level. Eventually, the regional level. The Imperium side is the authoritarian side, and the realm, the Imperium, is managed by the elite. It is the realm of the elite, and this elite have 5 prerogatives which the Imperium side, the regional level, can't touch. The 5 forbidden apple trees, if you want to call it that, and a Garden of Eden which we shall create. The Imperium side, the prerogatives of the elite are spirituality, race, high culture, high politics, and territory. Spirituality, I was delighted today to hear that we will have a talk about cosmotheism. It was so much needed. Say here, Mr. Lund. Oh, yes, thank you. It was so much needed. He calls it a religion. I prefer to call it a belief, not a religion, because a religion tends to degenerate into a husk. A belief which is evolving. You see, a belief evolves. So, cosmotheism, race, an imperium for Europeans only, and the 4 cousin sub-nations, as we call it. So, spirituality, race, high culture, you see. The elite will not dictate art, what we will paint, ceramics, whatever. Total art, as Wagner used to call it, total art. The elite, through their example, through their way, will influence art, will influence television, radio, discussion, not through imposition, but through influence. And high